Now, you had talked about snow earlier. How does that affect the solar panels?
Clearly, when they get covered with snow, they don't produce quite as much. They'll still produce a little because some of it gets through the particles of snow depending on how thick it is. But eventually, there's a resistance that builds up on the panels, and eventually, as long as a little bit of sun comes through, that resistance will cause the snow to just slide right off. They're installed at an angle. And so that first day, especially around here, if we get a foot, you're gonna see a real low production that day. But as the resistance builds up and the snow stops, the snow will slide off.
Well, the reason I asked, a couple years ago, we had 48 inches in like a 2-day period.
I remember.
How would that be handled as far as getting electric to the customers if they...
The electric is always going to the customers because it comes from NYSEG.
Okay.
So there's no impact on the end customer in terms of electric. Everything, when you report an electrical outage, you report an electric emergency, anything in terms of the delivery of the electricity to you still happens the way that it does today, regardless of what the project is producing. If worst case scenario, literally the project went off grid for some reason, all of the inverters stopped producing at one point in time, a major cable got chewed through or cut or who knows what, you would still get your electricity at your house because NYSEG would be providing it from another location. So it doesn't really affect the electricity that you get.
The customer would still get the 10%. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, except on the days where we didn't produce it. So you're always going to get the 10% discount. But let's say we had 4 foot of snow for a week straight and hardly produced any energy. You're not saving a lot for that week's period because we didn't produce a lot. But it's not costing you any more. You only save on the energy that we produce for you on your behalf during, the year. Now, the other thing that's interesting is, as you can imagine, solar production follows a bell-shaped curve, right? We obviously produce a lot more in June, July, and August than we do the winter months. So what will happen in July, we'll produce more power for you than you need. Those credits get sort of stored on your NYSEG account, and they get carried onto your bill as a discount in November, December, January, and February when you actually pay for them. So you'll store up some credits that we produce.
Like budget.
No, with the air conditioned I blow.
We'll take that into account too. When we determine how much capacity to reserve for you, we're going to look at your air conditioning usage in the summer. And so, an average customer in New York State uses about 8,000 kilowatt hours. So if you use more than that, we're going to reserve more capacity for you, and so we'll produce more.
Can you just, for Mega, the CCA that the village is in, then I think you said on the generation side, if it's not billed on the NYSEG bill, then the village wouldn't save any money on that.
You'd still save on the delivery side.
What if, I guess I'm internally, through my mind, just trying to work through, if we're getting our energy long-term contract from Mega at a fixed fee, then how's it coming from you guys then?
Well, think about it. You're not really getting your energy from Mega.
Right.
You're buying into a renewable energy program. This is no different, except we're producing it locally right here.
So Mega is required through NYSEG to give you credits as well?
They're not going to do it, NYSEG is. So Mega really will have no involvement at all. But if the Mega charges are on the NYSEG bill, then NYSEG will apply the CDG credits to that portion of the bill as well. So it's a program, it's a New York State program that NYSEG implements on behalf of the community solar community.
That's why it has to be on the bill. So NYSEG.
Right.
Right.
If the Mega charges are not on the NYSEG bill, and there's a separate bill from the ESCO, then no credits can get applied to that. It has to be on the NYSEG bill.
Right, and I guess it's in that scenario where we're being charged an NYSEG distribution fee, where there's no accompanying apparent credit on the supply side. How is there a credit for this? Because we're consuming electricity.
You won't get a credit on the supply side on those bills, but you'll get a credit on the delivery side.
Right. That's just, it seems funny.
Uh-huh. And I appreciate that, because I've actually had people say to me, no, that can't be, and the answer is yes, it can, because New York wrote the CDG regulations different. We don't follow the the regulatory process of an ESCO. We are different and unique. And one place you can look is, there's a slide that looks like this, it's got a bunch of red boxes. That's the NYSEG bill. And you'll notice that if you can see, I know it's little. I have to take my glasses off. Some of you might have to put them on. But you'll notice that there are 2 credits applied, one on the delivery side of the bill and one on the supply side. So on an account where the mega charges are not on the NYSEG bill, you will only see that delivery side credit. You won't see the supply side credit, which it's about half. It's not exactly half. You'll see that in this case, on the delivery side, they applied 320 credits, and on the supply side, they applied 288 credits. So it's not even, but it's close. It's about half. Other questions like that?
I don't know whose bill this is, but I wouldn't want to pay that usage. That's pretty lot of usage.
Yeah, but look at the bill, it's only $15. This was my bill. I paid NYSEG $15 that month, and I paid Delaware River Solar $51. And I would have paid NYSEG 70 something had I not been in the program. So I guess
So how do you make money to pay for the, if everybody's paying less, how do you make money?
because we're getting paid for the power that we, so each project, Gaskell's a little bit of an exception because it's so much bigger, but our normal 2 megawatt projects cost $4 or $5 million to build, all right? We then recoup that investment over 25 years of selling the power to everyone who subscribes. No, we sell it to you. We sell it to me, to you, to everyone who subscribes at a discounted rate. So we're charging you less than you would pay NYSEG, but we're still charging you. So that's how we recoup the investment.
Does everybody get that? They're generating power at a lower cost than NYSEG is getting the power. They're selling it to us at a lower cost. That's their profit.
And NYSEG is paying.
NYSEG is part of the, well, NYSEG is in this because the state tells them they have to be in this, not because they love us.
And NYSEG has to get their power from somewhere, right? NYSEG does not supply power. That's why you have the megas and the constellations and the everybody else. They're not in the power supply business, they're in the power delivery business. They still get the revenue from the basic service charge. It's the first line on your bill, and it's $15 to $20, and every one of us pays it every single month. NYSEG gets that regardless. That line item on the bill is not discounted. The only piece that is discounted are the community solar credits that you get on the kilowatt hour usage, which is the majority of your bill. Unless your bill is only $20, then that means you hardly use any energy, and most of your bill is the basic service charge.
I guess one big difference is you'll get 2 bills with this.
You will get a second bill. The upside for the village is we will send you a summary bill of all your accounts, not 25 individual ones. If it's your choice to get one bill from us, we'll even send you an Excel spreadsheet as a backup with all of the calculations, so you can use that and manipulate it in whatever way you need to be comfortable that you're seeing the savings. But you will, so you'll still pay 25 NYSEG bills, but you can pay 1 DRS bill if you choose. If you say to us, no, one's for the water district, one's for the fire district, one's for whatever, we need 25 separate bills, well then we'll give you 25 separate bills. But if you prefer one, you'll just have 1 DRS invoice.
So I know your pitch, of course, is you get a 5% discount, but you're effectively an energy supplier. Ordinarily, when the municipalities procure supplies, they should be competitively bidding it. Are you saying, and I haven't looked at this specifically to know if there's an exception to a competitive procurement process for the purchase of energy, but that's what they did with the CCA, of course, and are you saying that they wouldn't have to do a competitive process to choose you as a supplier?
I think that's up to you as a municipality, but we have not had other municipalities do that. Because it's an opt-in program and you can cancel anytime, with the exception that on the commercial accounts, we ask for 6 months notice. But you're not locked in for more than 6 months at any one time.
Can you send me or us a list of the other municipalities that are clients?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Anything else? Anybody have any questions?
We're gonna think about it.
All right, and then I guess the next thing that I would ask you to think about, and I don't know the process that you would go through, but whether you would be interested in Jackson starting some kind of community outreach program, whether it be village meetings that we publicize through the radio station and, try to let everybody know that this is available to them. And it's all savings in addition to the program that they're already in.
Think about that.
Awesome. All right, well, we appreciate your time, and you've got our contact info. Jackie's in the area on a pretty regular basis. It seems like once or twice a week these days, and she lives pretty close by, so she can get here anytime you have other questions, and I'm happy to do the same.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
for coming. Are we,
Did you press them? Did you? Oh, you did. I was gonna go. Just want to make sure everyone has it. Oh, yes. They're not on the project yet, but they're involved.
I'm not big government.
Oh, that was Cindy Love. Somebody else told me, who did we just meet with? Said the same thing.
Well, I love taking the station. I love it.
Do you know they're putting the brewery roof to the Olympia Hotel across the street? And now they're which is really good because they rebuilt the one. And now they're flying to the station. I mean, like, you just gotta walk across the street. You probably then want to sleep at the Western Hotel, but, Thank you. Oh, I'm so sorry. Back here.
Let's do department head reports. We do have an executive session. Robin?
Easy peasy night. I have 3 new members that we'd like to offer up, and it's one family. It's I told you about it last time. The Robin family, we have the mom, pop, and the son. And the son, I have a copy of the working papers that go along with him. He's, at this point, is taking the first responder. The parents are both recerting. And if you don't know who the mother is, she's our county coordinator. So that's a nice little...
Do they live in Rio or what's their?
Oh, Appley, definitely. Yeah. They're within the zone. I will, let me see, first we have Michael Roberts. Roden. No, he's the young one. He's the 16-year-old.
Okay,
What is his name again, please?
Michael Robert Roden, R-O-D-E-N. I recommend that the board approve this candidate for the EMS.
Okay. So that's a motion, right? So in a second.
I'll second it.
Okay. Anybody any questions about him? Good. Fred?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And then we have Rebecca, the mother. Like I said, which what she is now. We have all of her certificates as well attached.
Rebecca Roden.
Rebecca.
I make the motion, Rebecca. A second.
Okay. Fred?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And then we have Father Michael Joseph.
I make the motion that we accept this candidate.
A second.
Oh, come on.
Take it easy on Rod.
You're going to send this over to Rod?
Yeah, you know, I always make.
Fred? Charles?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
And I handed out the copy of the building thing that we had a question on. So that's something we can do, you know. You and I have already discussed it. We need to get with Paul on this and,
Yes, and we'll go through the building stuff.
yes,
Doing everything we're supposed to be doing.
yes.
So they're sending redundant paperwork.
But this cleared up that what people perceived as being what the process was not exactly what it read. That's why I handed this out to you guys. The only thing we see is it's redundant, and we'll take care of that later.
Okay.
But this was just an offset, so hearsay is one thing, and having the facts in front of you is another thing.
I don't know if you noticed or not, but I gave all the department heads a
Yes.
copy of my little sheet. So just show your revenue, I broke out the EMS separate.
Yes,
Shows revenue versus spent.
appreciate that, thank you.
It's probably a month behind.
Yeah, probably behind.
At least you got the numbers.
That's all right, anything's a plus. And that's all right.
Yeah, this is a month behind, what we're doing is, so this might be a couple months behind really.
Black Friday works for us, I just know it, yeah. Our only,
Probably.
okay, our only complication with taking care of the candor agreement is the one works during the day, but so do we.
Okay.
So we're gonna try and shoot for that day as well for meeting with them.
Okay, and the EMS, Paul sent me the EMS clinical agreements. Him and Kate are,
We've looked at initially,
Working
doing
through.
some comments to get back to Lord's, so I don't know if you or Paul have the Lord's person's contact, it might have been an email
It
chain.
should be, and
Yeah.
I have a copy at the station.
So I'll forward that, our comments on to the Lord's person directly. I mean, we'll send them to you just so you can see what we're talking about, but one of the issues I think is just these trainees or students, you know, we want to make sure that liability, if one of them gets hurt, is allocated to Lord's effectively.
Well, it's pretty much the same contract we've had for each year.
so we're working on that. That was wrong, that's what I had on the agenda, so I remember to go work on it.
Good point. Appreciate that.
Okay, anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. Jim?
I'll start with new members. We have two. One is Michael Hopkins of Owego. Went back to be a firefighter.
Michael's been in before and is.
Yes, he's been a previous member, and then he moved away to practice EMT stuff, so.
What company is? What company is?
Company 2.
Do you have paperwork for it?
No, I gotta bring it down. I'll bring it down in the morning.
Can we do that without the paperwork and have it taken care of later? Because we all sign those things.
Next week.
Yeah, we'll just sign it later.
I move that we accept Michael Hopkins, you said threes?
Two. Company 2.
Number.
A second.
This is the Mike Hopkins. Red Sox fan, Hopkins. Okay.
Hey, it's the right one.
Frank?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Second new member, he was past member as well, moved out of state and is now back. Eric Benjamin moved back to Owego, joining company number 4.
Benjamin?
Benjamin, correct.
In German? Okay.
Benjamin.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Move we accept Eric Benjamin as a member of company number 4.
Second.
Fran?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. I guess you read it.
I'll bring it down. Like the board's approval to apply for the AFGA grant again this year. We didn't get anything out of it last year, so hoping maybe this year we'll get it. It's a lengthy process, but we have to start now, so.
Do they need a formal resolution to apply?
Well, here's what you do. Normally, if you go out for a grant, you have to get the board's permission off.
Or I'm just thinking like, as part of the grant application, do they need to see a vote in the minutes authorizing the application?
So, I mean, it doesn't hurt.
Jim, what grant is that?
AFG grant, it's through Homeland Security.
That's not, that's,
Assistant to firefighters.
I'm sorry?
Assistant to firefighters.
That's not advertised. I move that we,
We applied for that grant last year for these, and
I move that we allow the fire department to apply for the AFG. Okay.
A second.
Karen?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
last hard thing I got, Rusty's got a copy, Mark's got a copy. Our SCBA's, they're our breathing apparatus, so when we go on fire, basically we call them Scott packs, are expired. They were up in February of this coming year. That being said, it's a very big expense. I can make copies, I can pass this around so everybody can look at it. We had our testing obviously done last month. 2 of the packs are out of service period. It's going to cost $4,800 to repair 2 packs. The rest of the bottles are going to be out of compliance 2020 of February. We're 3 NFPA compliances behind on the current Scott packs that we have. So in the proposal, the new Scott packs, we're looking to purchase 25 Scott packs, 25 new masks. Going back and forth with the company, they're willing to throw in 25 spare bottles. They're also willing to throw in the what they call pack tracker. So that is, if a firefighter gets injured, cannot move, basically the pack has a GPS tracker in it, and whoever's running command can see a tablet where that person is located inside the building. It's new state-of-the-art equipment. So that being said, the grand total is $199,120 for these packs. There is a lease option. Mike, I don't know if you want to go over the lease option, but
So to give some context, I've got another client who came to me looking for 18 SCBA Scott packs, and they were, I think, might have been from the same company. You can, right, one of the things I'm always saying is, hey, don't need to competitively bid this. So, yup, you do. But one of the contracts that's out there, it's either a state contract or a cooperative purchasing network, which you can piggyback off of. So I believe that the number that they quote to you, if you have them use the piggybacking contracts, you know, I mean, that's just spelled out right out in the contract. If they're willing to throw in 25 spare bottles, great. So that would be, so we wouldn't need to competitively bid this, but if the village board is looking to borrow to finance these, then I would just need some heads up on that so we can put the proper borrowing resolution together to authorize the borrowing. But you wouldn't be able to pass it tonight, for example.
then I didn't expect it. Yeah. It's just something we need to start talking about. Obviously, February's coming out.
Yeah.
The other nice part about these new packs is they have a lifetime warranty. So the current packs, we don't. So basically, the only cost we would have is the change out of the batteries once or twice a year. I think it is twice a year, these new packs. And then the bottles will expire in 15 years. So instead of buying all brand new packs, all we'd have to do is buy the replacement bottles. So anything goes wrong, wear, tear, anything. So if a firefighter goes in and smashes out something with it, it's fixed for free. As long as the village owns those packs. Now if I sold one at Lake and the warranty's good. So.
Right. How many packs do we have now?
25.
Is that our goal number, is that 25? And that 200 grand for 25 of those is 8 grand a pad, just right, how much they cost.
And just so you're familiar, we did apply last year to the AFG grant to get 25 new packs, and we did not see that grant.
Do we have any equipment reserve?
We do.
That's not that good right now.
What do we have in reserve?
Just about that.
Jim, are you doing the new helmets or the same as you've got? Was that doing the helmets too?
Face piece?
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
The new kind that Maine used or not? Or are they the different style?
I don't know what you mean.
Because we had them show your guys what they had when they were doing the stone part.
And then in the back page, there is a lease option.
So for the lease option, I know the interest rate that's quoted in the lease option, it's basically a lease purchase, and at the end of the lease, you buy it for $1. Whatever interest rate was in there, I would just encourage you to get some quotes from banks, because the banks might be more competitive than the leasing. But whichever way you decide to do it, I would expect the timeline, I don't know off the top of my head if it's subject to permissive referendum. If you borrow for longer than 5 years, it probably is, which means you can figure like a 60-day timeline from when you take a vote to when you can close with whoever it is that you're closing with, whether it's the lease finance or the bank. So thank you for bringing this up now, because we can say, all right, now start thinking about it. I would say, if not the next meeting, then really probably the next meeting is when I'd say to do this, to pass a resolution one way or the other. So if you guys want to do it, let me know ASAP so we can put this paperwork together.
I guess we have to first determine if these prices are off of that bid.
It looks very, very similar to the other client I'm familiar with. I think I might be able to save you $100 on a pack. So, just pointing out a thing or two, but yeah, I think that it's the exact same company. So you can piggyback off of this contract.
Right, and right now, they're, to my knowledge, the only company in this area that sells the Scott Air Pack.
Right.
There's a couple other companies, but Scott took their dealership license or whatever away.
So I was looking at this, so if we did the lease, we'd have to put a $24,000 deposit and then the $28,000 for the year?
That's a 7-year term.
Yeah, that's the lease, right, on the last page?
Yes. 3.32%.
So essentially,
We put 24 down, we owe 175, which we have to pay 3.2% interest for that 175.
yeah, but so essentially for the first year, you'd have to pay a little over 50,000. And then after that, it would be the 28 per year?
No, I think there's 24,000 first year. Looks like. I mean, down payment.
Yeah, because the first payment is 1 year from closing, so.
Oh, all right.
24 is
Yeah, 24 is down payment.
Gotcha.
Get it down to
All right.
But like Nate said, we're going to get better rates.
The rate would be 3.32%.
I'm not sure which
That's the interest rate on
That's
that.
not a bad rate.
Well, then typically go through them. We want to look at bank options to see if we need a lower rate.
No, you wouldn't use your reserve money for that.
That's for fire engine.
That's what I understand. You got two.
Yeah, there's a,
You got
I believe there's a resolution on it that we can't use that money for anything, but if I remember correctly.
There is something weird about that account, yeah.
Well, it's a couple
Mr.
of.
Mayor,
Rod said.
yes. So we need to pursue every possible grant possibility for this. We need to pursue the possibility, who knows what's available with what entities, the possibility of a no-interest loan for this, such as the end of this, but we need to pursue all that stuff and we need to do it quickly.
Yeah, it's vital to make sure that our firefighters have the proper equipment to do it.
So, regardless of who you borrow the money from, the borrowing resolution isn't going to name who you're borrowing from, it just gives you broad authority to actually borrow. So, I mean, if you're leaning towards using a bank, it'd probably be fairly minimal work for us to also prepare a lease financing or lease purchase resolution as well. They're very similar. I mean, if you just say, yeah, we'd like this to consider at the next meeting, and then if you figure out, yeah, the bank's the lowest interest rate, great, or if you have another opportunity for 0% financing, but at least we can get something ready for the next board meeting.
And is that something you could work on?
I don't think well, yes, certainly I could work with Nate to do that, but if you're talking about the bank, I don't think the bank would be interested in financing this. Schmuck now would.
Yeah, I know TSB maybe, NBT does borrowings like this. I think the Bank of Maine is interested in lending for municipalities. There's a few out there. Community bank.
I gotta ask.
Alright, so should Nate prepare something for us for the next meeting? I mean, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah, we don't know what we're gonna do,
Right.
but we need to be
Well,
prepared.
yeah, I mean, it's either a borrowing from a bank or a lease purchase. You know, and again, they're both very similar, so I think we can put together.
Because I don't think we're gonna pay for it outright.
That's a lot of money.
We have a budget for $200,000. We're gonna have to borrow from somebody, somewhere.
They just got back and he said it's below state contract price.
We'll talk. Yeah. You guys work out something for the next meeting. We'll get the ball rolling.
Jimmy's everything?
Yeah, you're gonna cover the convention?
Convention, you wanna do that now under fire?
Yeah.
Do all the trustees have a 3 or 4 pages of information about the potential fireworks convention?
You want to be helping a little?
Yeah. Good. I don't know if you had opportunity to look at it in the next meeting.
Yeah, I talked to Jeff Sewell about it, because there's a parade permit. The only comment he had was if we approve the parade permit, so that, which Pat probably knows, but we gotta get DOT approval because it's on the path.
Yes. I believe that it's in part of his notes that we'll have to get DOT approval to close streets for the parade, and if we're also going to have with fireworks, we'll have to get DOT approval to close streets and or the bridge for the fireworks. So everything we do there obviously is contingent on that. So when we do these things, say the lights on the river, who gets the state approval? Does the HOM get it or do we get it?
HOM is from the state.
Yeah, but they need ours to get it.
We authorize the parade permit, we authorize them to go to the state to get the approval for the closing of the state. Okay. So I don't, once again, I don't know if the trustees have had an opportunity to look at this stuff.
Yeah, I got the,
Are you fairly familiar with it? So,
The only thing I noticed on the recommended parade route, it says at the end to turn south on Temple to the fire station. I believe that'd be west.
yes,
I just want to make sure that's correct.
west is correct.
Okay.
So a quick roundup, every year Central Fires Association of New York has a convention somewhere. We have them here every 10 years or so. We've had many of them. And we've been awarded the opportunity to have this 2020s in Owego, and the fire department and the hosting using some of their, they would like to get the village's permission to have the convention here this year, this coming year, 2020.
So if we were to resolve to do that, would we take 3 separate actions, like a motion to support the parade permit, a separate motion to waive the hydrant fees, and then a separate motion to close the streets?
Yes. We would do the parade permit as an entity, and then if there were other things, some could be bundled or not. But I will have a couple of things to ask you about on these things. So I just want to do a quick run through it before that comes. So, you got the one with the map on it? So that gives you the feel of what they want to do. Thursday night, they'll have a reception at the American Legion. You can see everything. The things that we would be involved with would be the block party on Friday on Talcott Street, which later he asks what streets they want closed for how long. So if we do that block party, it will be on Talcott Street from McMaster down to Spruce, close the street down, be a chicken barbecue maybe, band, this won't be a late thing, it's a 5 to 8 kind of thing, band, chicken barbecue, fire medic stuff, it won't be full hose racing things. As opposed to previous years, The fire department has no intention of attempting to sell any alcohol, so they don't need any alcohol permits, et cetera, to do any of that. Most of their, this thing is much smaller than it used to be back in the day. Most of their stuff will be at the clubs or at the bars of any kind of entertainment kind of thing. So, yes.
So, like, traffic off from Glen Eye, would it be on the detour over to George Street?
No, it would be like New England, you can't get there from here.
So it would be blocked?
They would have to detour. On West Avenue or George Street or any place else other than Talcott between McMaster and Spruce. They would have to go a different route. Okay. So the things they need from us, first, of course, is permission to do the whole spiel. And then the things that we would be involved with would be closing of Talcott Street from 5 till 8 on Friday. Fireworks. And they propose that these will be done by the same company that does the Lights on the River fireworks, probably in the same area over in Draper Park. And I would assume police will be involved, obviously, to close the bridge and to close whatever streets. So, Joe, I assume that would be something you would be willing to do?
Maybe.
Yeah, I do that. Anyway, so that we'd have to approve that. Awards on the Fountain Square, nothing there. Awards, nothing there. The next two things would be, they want to do hose racing on Main Street in front of the Pink Prison. And slightly complicated because the fire hydrants that they would, one or both that they would use are ill-placed there. When we first discussed this, we thought they were going to close down, if we did it, we'd close down Main Street from Church on down to Spencer or Page, but the fire hydrant is right on the corner of Church. So what that means is if we're going to allow them to have hose racing there, they requested that we